I'm at Hickory Hill Milk in Edgefield, South Carolina, or near to it anyway. It's an amazing place. The most incredible thing is not the honor system. It's not the fact that, yeah, I have to shake this milk up like you did back in the day because it's a creamline milk. It's not homogenized. It is pasteurized. It means the cream floats to the top. You got to shake it up to separate it. That's not the most amazing thing. Even the automated, robotic, on-demand milking machines are not the most amazing thing here. The most amazing thing is the Dorn family who started it all. Come on, let me take you where the food comes from.
The farm's been in our family since 1764, so I jokingly tell everybody I started milking cows 9 months before I was born. So just don't know any different. But when I went to Clemson, I majored in ag education. And of course we were dating at the time, and we dated all the way through college and been married 38 years. But I remember talking to my advisor on the third day I was on campus, and he said, "Mr. Dorn, what are your goals here at Clemson?" Being real serious. And I thought for a minute, and I said, "Well, Doc, I knew when I was 7 years old I wanted to go back and run the dairy. But I also like working with young people, so I want to major in ag education, and if I go broke in the dairy business, I'll teach school." He said, "I've been interviewing students for 3 days. That's the first honest answer I've received."
Daniel, I would swear that every one of these cows is wearing a Fitbit.
They are actually.
You're kidding me.
They are actually. Yes, we have activity and rumination monitoring collars on these cows.
Okay.
So
it's basically really a Fitbit for cows.
That's right, and it even goes even further than a Fitbit, because not only does it track the number of steps they take every day, like a Fitbit does.
It really does.
But it also tracks how many minutes they spend ruminating every day or chewing their food. Cows are ruminating animals,
okay,
which means they regurgitate their food and they re-chew it. And cows have 4 stomachs as well. So a healthy cow is going to be ruminating around 8 hours a day. So if she's not ruminating around 8 hours a day, that's going to give you information. She's either in heat or she's feeling sick.
You know how much they sleep in a day though? Because I'm trying to figure out just how much of their waking day they spend chewing.
So I'll imagine they probably sleep for maybe a few hours a day, I would say.
So maybe as much as half of their time is spent chewing, just literally chewing food.
Right.
That sounds like a pretty good deal. These cows have got it made, I'm telling you.
Think back, my grandparents kind of started milking a few cows. These are actually the milk cans they used when they were producing grade C milk, which is used for cheese. So I guess we've come all the way from milking them by hand in these cans to now milking them with robots. I never dreamed something like that would happen.
Daniel, I grew up working on farms. In the last 15 years, I've traveled to, no joke, a couple of thousand farms. This might be, I've seen some amazing things. This might be the most amazing thing I've seen. This is on-demand, automatic, robot milking. This is a miracle.
Yeah, and it is.
Tell us about this.
It has really changed our lives. We're really blessed to be able to have these units here to help us milk these cows. The cows love them. They love to come be milked. It only takes us about 7 to 10 days to train a new cow on them before they start coming to the robots on their own. It's just a better way to milk the cows, in my opinion.
How often does a cow need to be milked a day?
So you need to milk these cows at least twice a day.
Twice a day, at least.
You're right.
And before this kind of system, somebody had to deal with all of that. And a lot of time that somebody was named you. Before that, that somebody was probably named Watson, your dad.
Right.
And you had to oversee all of that. You were getting up, what, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
So we've been blessed to have people to help us with the milking over the years.
Right.
And that's one reason why we built this facility also. We knew it was going to be a challenge to find people to milk cows at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Is it uncomfortable when they need to be milked and they're just coming to get some relief? Or how do they know to come through here, line up? It doesn't look like it would be something a cow was just born knowing how to do.
And they're not born knowing how to do it, but they do have instincts that help them learn how to do it.
Okay.
So
the same herd instincts that make them group together and
Right.
follow each other.
every cow in this barn right now knows how to come and be milked at these robots. If we bring in a new cow who's never been milked in a robot before, she will watch those other cows and she'll learn quicker how to go to these robots.
This thing just runs 24 hours.
Yep.
And since we've been here, there's always been somebody in it.
Right.
So
Yep.
that just shows you that it almost looks like it's fun for them.
It
looks
is.
like they're lining up to get on a ride at Disney World or something.
It is, and they get a treat when they go in there. So the feed
Oh.
that they get when they go in here is different than the feed at the feed bump.
Ah,
This feed that they get in here is more like candy to them.
okay.
It's a sweet feed, it tastes really good, and it smells really good, you know, to them, and they like it. So the whole time that cow's in there, you're gonna see her head down in that feed trough pretty much the whole time. So the first thing that's gonna happen when the cow walks in the robot is it's gonna identify that cow. She's got an RFID tag in her left ear that will tell the robot, this is the cow that's in the stall.
Okay.
It'll identify her. It'll send all that milking information to the computer for our records. The next step is it's gonna wash the teats. Any debris or foreign matter that's on the teats, it's gonna wash that off and put it down the drain. And it's gonna put a little bit of teat cleaner solution on there to kill any bacteria that could be on there. So the next step is gonna be, it's gonna attach these milking cups, which it's doing right now.
Right.
So that wash is going to make sure those those teats are nice and clean before the milking cups go on there. And once the milking cups are on, that cow just sits there and eats and milks
Has a candy bar.
Yep, and milks out. After the teat cups come off and the cow's finished milking, her udder will basically deplete of milk.
Right.
Once it senses that no more flow is coming through those hoses, it'll pull them off. And then it'll spray iodine on those teat ends to make sure that she's protected from bacteria as she goes back out into the barn.
So there's no mastitis is going to develop. It's just going to
Correct.
be a perfectly clean, uncontaminated system. They go back out to the hard work that they're doing
Right,
and then line up and do it all again.
that's right.
Man, I'm telling you, this is the life.
Yep,
If you're going to be a cow, and maybe even if you're not a cow, this is the life.
right.
That's just astonishing, man. That's just astonishing.
Milk is nature's most nearly perfect food, but here's why ours is different. We do a low temperature pasteurization that preserves the beneficial bacteria in milk, but we also don't homogenize it. There's no scientific reason to homogenize milk. We started doing it back in the 1930s for the simple reason you don't have to shake it up. The fat that's in its natural state is too big for your body to readily absorb. So your body will actually burn calories trying to break that fat down, and it can't do it. You're getting the vitamins, minerals, calcium, protein, all the good things without getting excess fat. The problem is it's not readily available because it's like 1/10 of 1% that actually have little small bottling plants on the farm. And the big corporate plants, they're not gonna do it.
Let's talk about some of what's going on in here. We see the big tanks back here. Is that just a holding tank? Is that storage?
Well,
Is it bringing it temperature down? What's going on in those vats?
Basically, we haul the milk over here to the farm and from the farm, and we put it in these vats, and you can see their chart recorders on the front.
Right.
So that's monitoring temperature and
Right.
time. So we heat the milk up to 145 degrees, and when we bring it over here, it's at 36. So it takes about an hour and a half to heat up a 700-gallon batch.
Right.
After an hour and a half, when it gets to 145 degrees, then you have your hold time. You have to keep it at 145 degrees for 30 minutes, and that's called low temperature vat pasteurization. We're both killing the harmful bacteria, but we're preserving the beneficial bacteria by killing the harmful bacteria at a lower temperature. We keep everything as simple as possible. We heat the milk up, we cool it off with our big chiller going through a plate cooler. So it's going from 145 degrees to 36 degrees, and the amount of time it goes through the plate cooler, which is a matter of seconds.
Right.
That's the key to good quality milk.
So now what are you running right now? It looks
Right
like
now we're running buttermilk. We run buttermilk about 3 days a week, typically.
you're running whole milk, chocolate milk. Where do you get buttermilk from,
Ours
Watson?
is a cultured buttermilk. Originally, buttermilk came as a byproduct of making butter. But now, pretty much everybody does a cultured buttermilk. We will heat it up to 165, then cool it down to about 74, put the Floridana, that's the bacteria that we put in there, and we'll leave it sitting at 74, 75 degrees for about 20 to 22 hours.
Okay.
And it comes out as rich, thick, creamy, just wonderful buttermilk. We don't separate any of our products. It's just like it came out of the cow, and right now we're testing about 4.2% butterfat.
Wow.
Most of your milk in the supermarket, well, all of your whole milk in the supermarket is 3.25%. So we're going from 3.25 to 4.2. So already we've got that beneficial fat in there. And I always tell people the fat in milk and the fat in ribeye is two different fats.
It absolutely is.
So if you're going to cut your fat in the diet, don't cut it in the fat in the milk, because the milk's going to give you the added calcium, vitamins, minerals, and protein. So it's a beneficial fat.
So what kind of shelf life does natural, whole, non-homogenized milk have if somebody takes a carton of your milk home?
But the milk that we did this morning, the whole milk, was in a cow this morning. So that'll be in a supermarket shelf tomorrow. And that milk we date for 22 days.
Wow.
So that's about a week longer than your conventional supermarket milk. If you want it any closer than that,
You gotta come get it.
I'll have to squirt it in your mouth. Yeah.
Daniel, one thing a lot of people forget about with dairy farming is most times you're not just a dairy farmer, you're also a dirt farmer too. We're out here in one of your cornfields. What all kind of stuff do you guys have in the ground? How much of it do you keep, and what do you do with all of it?
So we plant about 350 acres of corn every year.
350 acres, that's not a little stand.
No, you know, we plant about that much. That's how much it takes to feed these cows for a year. So we like to take it from one crop year to the next,
right,
and make sure that we have enough to feed all of our cows for a whole year. Everything we grow pretty much is to feed the cows. The only exception being if we do have some corn left over after we fill all of our silage pits, then we'll combine it in the fall as for grain.
For grain?
Yeah.
So, but the goal is to have it all homegrown for a homegrown herd.
That's right.
So the 100 to 120 pounds of feed every day, the majority of it is coming out of your own fields.
Right, it is.
How does all that get done on top of everything else? It's got to get done around here.
So
There's no robots out here
No,
doing
there's no robots. We do all of this ourselves between the family and the people that work with us. That some of them been with us 25, 30 years now, and they'll help us a lot in the fields with the cows. You know, everything else, cutting grass, weed eating, spraying, I mean, you name it. There's stuff to do every single day. We're just blessed to have very good people helping us here. And it gives us more time to do the extra things that need to be done besides just milking the cows. You know, the milking of the cows more or less at this point takes care of itself.
And it maybe gives you a couple of extra minutes to go home and be with that new baby.
Right, yeah, I mean, it is nice to be able to spend a little bit more time with the wife and our new 9-week-old baby boy, so that's always a plus.
Without strapping them to your back and carrying them out here in the field with you.
Which I'm sure I'll be doing that as well.
At some point it'll be there. Yeah, I imagine the next time we're at Hickory Hill, we'll see a little Daniel running around out here.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
sure he will be.
It'll be a good time. We'll look forward to it. Now I hear that might be a dinner bell ringing somewhere.
Yeah, I think I hear that too, so.
Let's go check that out. That's
right.
always worth investigating.
Sounds good.
Lisa, we're winding up an amazing thing that happens every week here at Hickory Hill. Now, looking at this table, people might think everybody was about to sit down to dinner, but this is the leftovers.
Right.
And everything on this table, and there's some things that even got gone and you don't even see them here. You make every bit of this, in your kitchen, for whoever's going to be here every Thursday.
It's just a great way to just take a little time out. I feel like I said, it's just my contribution. And I think they like having me around because I feel, when we first got married, I couldn't cook a bit.
Really?
No, not at all. And
You obviously had a lot of practice.
Yeah. Mama cooked, I cleaned up. And so,
Fair trade, but...
so now, I think I'm turning into my mama. And I got up like 3 o'clock this morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, nobody distracts me. Because if I waited till 6 o'clock, I probably wouldn't have it done by lunchtime. But I can have everything done in about 4 hours if I get up at 3 in the morning, and I'll have a big, Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
That's what we feel like we just had. Now, you have a finance background.
I do.
Your family, though, growing up, were they farm people?
Not really.
No.
No, we had a garden, and my cousin Phil Perry was the county agent, and he got me involved in 4-H. Watson always tells when we first got married one night, I heard the cows out by the window, and I just thought I'd go back to sleep. He told me, don't do that anymore.
That's not how that works.
No, don't let them just walk over the yard, but but I give him a lot of the blame for making me get up early because he would get up and go milk. When I was fixing to go work at Elliott Davis & Company, which was a CPA firm. And so when he'd get up, I'd rather get up and clean the house before I went to work rather than do it when I came home because I am a morning person.
Makes sense.
So he got up to go milk the cows at 4 and I'd get up and clean the house or do whatever I needed to do. I had a pretty important job with a child care corporation and I had 2 children, and in order to leave at 5 o'clock, I had to get up early to get some work done before I got there so I could leave at 5 so I could be with my family.
Of course, with the robotic on-demand milking, that means Watson doesn't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, and nobody does.
So what time do you get up now?
See, I'm the early bird. I get up, if I sleep past 6 o'clock, you better call the ambulance.
Yeah, Watson already told me you still get up at 4.
I do. It doesn't matter.
About the fall of 2008, I just had it on my brain all day long about building a bottling plant. I don't know why. God kind of just put it in my brain and my heart to do it. And I went to the mailbox that night and there was a dairy publication, and on the front page was this guy in Missouri that had built a small bottling plant and the success he had had in that period of time since he had built it. And I thought, well, that's kind of like a little small burning bush. And she said, we've looked at that and we both agree that it's a viable way to secure our future and maybe pass it on to another generation. But it's now the time to do it. And I said, yeah, we got to find the equipment. We got to build a small bottling plant. And I can't remember whether I said it or she said it. And she said, yeah, we got to get a small delivery truck. We no more said that than there was a small delivery truck on the side of the road with a big for sale sign on it. That was a big burning bush. And we started bottling milk February the 17th of 2009.
It doesn't sell itself. You have to get out there and sell it. And one night he said he woke up in the middle of the night, oh, let's take a cow to the grocery store, because we couldn't sell it like you give them a brochure, you let them taste your milk. They don't want to taste it. They throw the brochure in the buggy and they probably never see it again. But like one of our first stops was at Earth Fair in Columbia, downtown Columbia. We took our cow that we showed in the fair. So the cow was calm. We put down a tarp and a tent, and everybody get out of the car and want to go see the cow.
One of our friends used to be chairman of the board at Clemson, Mr. Bill Amick. He called me one night and he said, we had a board meeting today and they're thinking about doing away with Clemson blue cheese. Well, Clemson's been doing the blue cheese since 1941. And I didn't want to see that discontinued. And he said, I think we need to have a meeting. After about 3 hours of discussion, it was obvious that we're going to discontinue it if we didn't take it on. So we kind of partnered with the university and we ran it for a few years. It's since been turned back over to the university exclusively. But we already had the connections through the broadline distributors with US Foods and Cisco to get the product out there. And we were supplying the milk for the blue cheese. And I think we've been good for each other. We've rejuvenated the product and you know, in the process it gave us an avenue to, you know, sell some milk.
I'm ending my day the way I started it, and it's been extraordinary. It's not the first time I've been to Hickory Hill, and man, I hope it won't be the last. Every time I come, something's different, something's changed. But you see robot milking machines, you see some of the innovations, the things that are driving us to the next level, how we're going to keep feeding people in the future. But it's even more satisfying to see people who are still honoring the way things used to be out here where the food comes from.